All right, and we are live. Welcome
Hey,
for
Greg.
anyone who is pouring in. Hey, again. And Scott, how's it going?
It is going great. It's a pleasure to be here, Greg, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to come on with us. It's great to have someone to chat with. Gen and I get sick of just talking to each other the whole time.
I don't get sick of you, Greg.
Okay. So it's great to have you on, and I'm sure the audience will enjoy it as well, your wealth of knowledge. So we appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I love doing the workshops, the webinars, all that stuff. I think it's just great to be able to connect live with people. So yeah, I'm excited to be here with you, and this whole project that you're working on, I think it's a really, really good thing, and I know people are enjoying it because they're following along with every single step, and you're being really transparent. So yeah, I'm sure you're getting a really good response.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think our audience has enjoyed it a lot. It is a lot of fun, to launch one of these publicly. I've done quite a few now. I don't tell anyone about it, so it's a lot more fun to be able to tell them what the product is and show them every little step along the way. So it's fun. I think everyone's enjoying it.
It's a lot of work too, though, right?
It is. It's definitely time-consuming. In my personal business, I have some help, with all my Amazon stuff. So I've kind of taken it for granted or forgot how time-consuming some of these steps are because I kind of, get some help with them. Whereas for this particular product, I'm doing it all myself. So it's like, oh, crap, I forgot how long that took.
Tell me about it. I know. There's a lot of little steps and things that you forgot that you needed to do when you launch a product. But if you start relying on people,
Right.
Yeah, there is some steps, but I think you know too. Once the work is kind of set up and once it's all put in place, then the monitoring it and kind of maintaining it isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, which is really nice. So welcome, everyone. I see we got some active people in the chat box here, of course, from all over the world. Scott, you have one fan here. They just got done with episode 119.
Nice.
That's good.
That was episode about pay-per-click.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can chime back in once we launch our product and are working on our pay-per-click.
Absolutely.
All right. So welcome, everyone. We'll give everyone about one more minute to kind of pile in here, then we'll get going. For those of you just popping in, you'll see that we have a special guest tonight. Scott Volker is with us. If you don't already know him, which I think a lot of you do, he's the host of the Amazing Seller podcast. You can also find his website at theamazingseller.com. He's an awesome resource. I've learned a bunch from him. And we've been buzzed now for, I guess, about a year or so, right, Scott?
Yeah, we have been, and it's gonna be time though. When I move to South Carolina, I know you said you've got a brother, I believe, in North Carolina, so we're gonna have to hook up and have that beer that we talked about.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess at this point, we're just internet buddies, We chat
High
over
five,
Skype.
right? That's funny.
Yeah, chat over Skype or emails every day or whatever.
Yeah.
So
No, it's been fun, and I see a lot of people coming into, all over the place, and I love it about these workshops and these webinars and stuff when you get to see where everybody's tuning in from. You got them all over, different countries and different parts of the country, and all. It's amazing. So, really cool stuff.
it really is. So for those of you who don't know, Gen's also in here with us. Most of you know Gen by now, so he's tuning in from San Francisco. Scott's in New York. I'm up in Canada, in Vancouver. So enjoying my time up here. It is a little chilly and rainy, but other than that, I like it. So yeah, I think
A lot of Canadians in the room tonight.
all right. Maybe there's some of you Vancouverians. Is that right? I think we are getting a little bit of snow here in the mountains, so we might see if we can hit up Whistler this weekend. I think they're supposed to open, so that'll be fun.
So I take it you're a skier then?
Snowboarder.
Snowboarder,
yeah. I haven't been in a couple years, but I think it's like riding a bike. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Just don't break your arm.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right. So we're a few minutes past 6 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started here.
Hey, Greg, sorry, real quick before we start, can you just drop the YouTube link in the chat?
I can, if you remind me where to get that
It
from.
should be on the
Ken.
bottom right of your screen.
All right.
little
Enter.
chain link icon.
There we
So,
go.
yeah, generally, if the picture is coming in a bit pixelated, if you go to YouTube and you can go to 720 pixels, it'll be a pretty clear image.
All right. And let's see. Can we make that a sticky or something?
Yeah, I can do that. Thanks, Greg.
All right, cool. All right, so welcome everybody. For those of you who if it's your first time joining us, we are doing a collaborative product launch. We're having a lot of fun with it. Tonight's the fourth or fifth webinar of this series. So we started all the way from phase 1 doing the product research. We spent a couple nights on that. From there, we ordered samples, inspected the samples. We've been communicating with factories. We found a factory that we liked, and we've actually gone ahead and placed an order with them for 1,000 units. So we placed that order last week. So now we're in the stage of waiting for the factory to produce our product. It's only going to take them about 10 or 15 days to produce the product, which is actually a lot quicker than, to be honest, for any other factory I've ever worked with. So that's pretty good, only a 10 or 15 day lead time. For there, it'll take a few more days to ship to us. But we have a few weeks here where we're kind of in this pre-launch phase, waiting for the item to get to us. So tonight we're just going to kind of go over things you can do while you're in this pre-launch phase. We're going to work on setting up our listing and then answer any questions you have. So yeah, to get started here, for those of you who don't know, the product we chose are bamboo marshmallow sticks. So they are 36 inches long, 5 millimeters in diameter, and they're what you can imagine used to roast over a campfire. You could put a hot dog on them or a marshmallow or whatever. So that's the product we chose. We're going to sell them in packs of 110, which is 10% more than any of our competitors. And we are packaging them in a poly bag with just a label on it. And I can actually, I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and I'll show you the label that we designed. It's pretty simple. I will share it with you, and then we can talk about it a little bit more. So let's see. I think it's going crazy there. Can you guys see the label?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, excellent. So it's pretty simple. We came up with a little Jungle Sticks logo at the top. That is our brand name. On there we have a recipe for Jungle Deluxe S'more.
Nice.
I'll take credit for coming up with that one. I think it's pretty good. We did put the suffocation warning on our label. I think if I remember right, the dimension for the let's see, it'd be the the opening, if it's greater than 5 inches, requires a suffocation warning. Ours was kind of right on the borderline there, so we went ahead and placed it on there just to be safe. And then I did choose to use the FNSKU code at the bottom as opposed to the UPC. We kind of talked about why we chose this last week. And then I also have a little made in China, the little text on the label there. So as you can see, it's pretty simple here. Keep it pretty basic. Is this similar to what your ideas behind it, Scott, or is there anything you'd like to add about it?
No, you did it perfectly. I mean, you've got the FNSKU there, which in the beginning I was always doing UPC and then having Amazon do it, which again we know it costs 20 cents. So this is the way I'm doing it now. I've learned, So yeah, that's exactly that looks great. I love the Jungle Sticks too, by the way. That's pretty clever. Love it.
Yeah, that's just a little. I think there's supposed to be bamboo poles here with little bamboo leaves. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, someone asked here real quick. Someone asked about that, like about the design. Are you going to talk a little bit about that?
About the design for the label?
Well, I think someone was asking like, where can you get a design?
Yeah, it's a good question. So this one right here is actually probably simple enough that most of us could figure out how to make this on our own computer. At Jungle Scout, we do have a graphic designer who did this for us, but again, this is really simple. I think it only took her about 10-15 minutes. If you don't have someone that you know to do this for you, I'd probably recommend Upwork. If you just want a logo, Fiverr might be a good spot, but if you want an entire label or packaging, I think Upwork's a good spot to get something like that. Do you know of anywhere else, Scott, that you've had good luck with?
No, I was going to say the same thing. I think for logo, you can get a cheap one, done if you were doing something like this. And Fiverr, Upwork, again, you can definitely find someone to do the whole job. And I mean, like you said, Greg, I mean, if you're not familiar with like Photoshop, don't worry about it. Use something like Canva. Canva is a great online, photo editing app, and they've got a lot of templates. You could probably knock this out in no time.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, if it's something a little like most of my products are actually boxes or some type of packaging that's a little more sophisticated for this. For this particular product, we chose to keep it really simple. So this is literally just a, let's see, it's 100 by 110 centimeters, I think, which is roughly 4 by 4 inches. So this is all it is yeah, a sticker going to look just like this, and we're just going to put it on each bag.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep. So, yeah, so then where we're at tonight is just kind of getting ready, while we wait for the factory to make our product. So real quick, let's just check out, sorry, our main keyword is likely going to be something like marshmallow sticks. So real quick, let's just check this out again. Keep in mind, we're doing these, which are these bamboo sticks, as opposed to any of these metal ones. We chose these because it's a little higher price point. They're very simple. They had good margins. So we can kind of just start by just checking out our competition right here and maybe getting some ideas of some keywords that wouldn't come to mind right away. So as I look at this page, I see marshmallow roasting sticks. I see s'more skewers. Hot dog forks probably wouldn't be quite as relative. They threw in fire pit, camping. Those are probably some good keywords. And real quick, I'm just doing this to get keyword ideas, either to put in my product description or the keywords in the back end of Amazon, and just and also just showing you guys kind of what our competition's like here. So yeah, did any of these jump out at you, Scott, that you think need to be included, or any comments here?
No, I think you're doing it exactly the way that I would do it, and I think again, we're just building out the listing to start with, and from there it's a matter of then figuring it out along the way and optimizing along the way. I mean, once you start running pay-per-click, you're going to start to see other keywords that you might not have thought of as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. And one thing I think a lot of people don't realize or forget is you can always keep editing your listing. So, tonight we're going to set this up, but we can certainly optimize it as time goes on. Like you said, in the pay-per-click, if we see some terms are doing really well that we didn't even think about, we can go ahead and add those into our listing. We can add those into our title. We can tweak little things to see how our ranks change. Scott has a story he'll share with us a little bit later about one of his students that made a small little tweak and made an incredible change. So yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We did that live too, and it was just recent. And you guys are going to be blown away. Just from one little tweak, opened up a ton of keywords for that particular
awesome
product. Yeah.
Yeah, I see something here, biodegradable. That'd probably be a good thing. One of the nice things about bamboo, is it is eco-friendly and biodegradable. So those are some good terms that we could throw into our particular listing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into Seller Central. So this is a new Seller Central account, and so there aren't any products listed in here right now. You can see my name is Jungle Creations, so that would be my seller name, and I'm just going to go right into Manage Inventory. I do already have one listing for something similar, and the reason I did that is because I needed to print off the FNSKU. So let's see, to pull this back up. So for those of you who don't know, this barcode right here is the FNSKU. This is generated from Amazon, and this identifies not only the product but the seller who's selling it as well. So when Amazon scans this in their warehouse, they know what the product is and which seller is selling it. So to generate that, and keep this in mind when you do your listing, or excuse me, your packaging, that if you want to print the FNSKU on there, which as we kind of talked about last week, I think is the best option, you will need to set up a listing which we're doing tonight, and then I'll show you how to get that after you set up the listing. But for tonight's purposes, I'm going to go ahead and do a brand new one. So I'm just going to go here to inventory and select add a product.
And Greg, just to clarify, you're not paying any monthly fee when you created an account, right?
You do not have to pay a month. When you create an account, you can just sign up for the individual account as opposed to the professional seller's account. And with the individual account, it doesn't cost any money yet. Once you start selling on Amazon, you're probably going to want to upgrade to that professional seller's account, because as it works out, if you sell about 40 products a month or more, you're going to want the cost is the same between individual and professional. And if I remember right, I think there's some limitations to the individual account. I think maybe you can't do pay-per-click, and is that right, Scott? Do you remember?
Yeah. There's no pay-per-click, and I believe also I think you save like $1 a listing too. I think every sale. I think it's something.
Yeah, that's how I figured the 40. You break even at that $40 a month, and then 40 times $1 savings. So yeah, but just to get your FNSKU, you don't need a professional seller's account.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, I went ahead and went to inventory, selected add a product. I already know this isn't in their catalog, so I don't even need to search for it. I'm just going to click right here, create a new product listing. And then from here, they're asking me to select a category. I could do this a few ways. And Scott might have some other ways here. And keep in mind, as we go through all this tonight, a lot of this stuff, there's no one or two right or wrong ways. I might be doing something a little bit differently than Scott. He might have some tips for me. I might have some tips for him. And then other things as far as optimizing your listing, a lot of it is just kind of theory. There's some things that we can prove. Other things you'll hear me tonight, I'll be completely honest, that I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I've heard that it has, but I've never been able to actually prove it. So keep in mind that there's definitely more than one or multiple right or wrong ways to do some of this stuff. Yeah. So we could search in here for something like we'll try March stick. Try to find a category for that. And then we'll just kind of look through some of these categories that are recommended and see. And the idea here, in my opinion, is just to find something that's relevant. Some people will try to say find a subcategory that's less competitive. Personally, I don't ever really deal with that, because my opinion is I've never gone to Amazon and clicked through 10 subcategories to find the item I'm looking for. I always just make a search. Would you agree with that, Scott? Or
100%. I think category is just like bonus, because when someone first comes to Amazon, they're using a keyword. Once they click into a listing, now they're in a category, and if they do other searches, then they're doing it in that category. But I think just to kind of like you said, I mean, really right now you're just trying to get the listing up and running. You can email Seller Central and tell them what category you want to be put in after the fact.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So right here, when I just look through these real quick, I don't see any that I love. So what I'm going to do real quick is just go into some of my competitors, see if they do have a subcategory that I like. Plates and cutlery, that's in industrial and scientific. I don't know if that's real relevant. Let me check out this other one. Barbecue skewers, I like that one. And patio, lawn, and garden, I think that's pretty relevant to this item.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and type that in. All right. Barbecue skewers inside of barbecue tools. Cool. So I selected that. So now we are in the area where you actually set up your listing. So you'll see there's lots of fields here. Some are required, some aren't. We'll kind of just go through at least all of the main ones and talk about kind of ways you can optimize them, or good good practice, for different areas, ways that we believe help to, either get people to find your item better or rank better or along those lines. So to start, we're in product name, and like I said before, keep in mind this can be adjusted down the road. So if I was just doing this real quick to just get my FNSKU, I'd just throw something in here. But we can go ahead and try to optimize this. Again, I'm going to go back and look at some of my competition, and a good way to think about this is, what's kind of working well for other people. It's like, why is this guy able to rank up here? Why is this one able to rank up here? And then another good idea is you can use Amazon's, what would this be called? Auto fill-in, autocomplete or something?
Yeah.
So if I start to type in marshmallow, I can see, Amazon developed this to kind of read people's minds, So you can probably guess that marshmallow gets searched more than marshmallow gun, than marshmallow root, etc. And then also right there at the top, I don't know if this is shown to me from my search history or if this is a recommendation, but again, you can see marshmallow roasting sticks. Let's see, if I type in marshmallow all the way.
Greg, is it possible that you zoom in just a little bit?
Sure.
Thanks.
That help? And all right. So
Oh, nice. Thanks.
is that better again?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
good.
great. All right. So you see some of the search recommendations there. Marshmallow sticks is one. I don't think it really fits into any of the other ones. Let me try. Let's see. What are some other ideas? Skewer maybe. So I see bamboo skewer there. Let's see. Do you have any other ideas for these, Scott or Gen?
Somebody mentioned kebab. Could kebab stick work?
Kebab. Okay, yeah, kebab skewer or kebab stick. So those are all potential keywords we can use. And then it looks like, this guy has marshmallow roasting fork set, marshmallow roasting sticks. It looks like roasting's pretty popular in these top results.
Yeah, it does. And I think bamboo is going to be probably one of your higher levels, I would think, because someone would probably be looking for them, especially like you said, if they're looking for a non-metal or something. So I think that would probably be in there. But marshmallow, definitely. I think roasting sticks, and I think bamboo should be probably in there somewhere.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start let's try a marshmallow roasting stick. Let me see what a few of these others. Then let's do marshmallow roasting stick. What do you think here, Scott? Marshmallow roasting stick. I can do dash bamboo. Skewer,
yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, you did more research on this than I did, but I mean, is the size important? Are people searching?
This was just about to say. Maybe throw in that it's 36 inches, which is that's long. That's the size of a yardstick.
Yeah, it's 3 feet. And then what about how many it comes with? Does that matter? I mean, I don't know if people are searching for a certain number, or do you think that'd be better into the just the bullets?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and throw that in.
See if someone's got pack 100. Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually have a pack of 110. So that's
exactly.
Let's say 36-inch pack of 110, and then we could just throw in some other keywords in here, like
what about something like campfire? Would you have something in there about campfire? Again, I'm just throwing out ideas as I'm sitting here, but I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you've done the research and you haven't heard much about campfire, but I'm just thinking to myself, if I'm looking for sticks, I'm thinking campfire. I'm thinking maybe camping. I'm thinking maybe something that's going to be used for that, unless there's a different purpose.
Certainly, yeah. We haven't done a ton of research until tonight, Scott. So any recommendations, feel free to throw them in there. But I think that's a good idea. Maybe I could say perfect for campfire. I used roasting. There's nothing against using it again, but I've heard hearsay that it's not required. Perfect for campfire cooking hot dogs.
Yeah, that could be, because people could cook hot dogs on it.
Corn, s'mores. So would it be redundant or not good to include wooden? I was just checking out the keyword planner. If it's bamboo and wooden.
Yeah, I think that's actually good, because wooden, people not necessarily might be thinking bamboo, they're just going to think they want wood. So that's true. And here's the other thing I think people should realize, right? This doesn't have to be perfect, right? You're just trying to fill it out, but what's going to happen is when you start running your pay-per-click, you're going to be able to see actual customer searches that have found that are being in your listing is showing impressions for. Mm-hmm. That's where you're going to start getting the data, and that's where you're going to start fine-tuning this listing. But right now, I think you're like almost there, right? And then it's like you move on to the next because you're going to see this stuff once you start running your pay-per-click.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. We have marshmallow roasting steak, bamboo wooden skewer. We have the length and the size of the pack, and we say perfect for campfire cooking, hot dogs, s'mores, and would you say corn again? We could throw that in there too.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how many characters this is. You'll see that we have max of 250. So again, like Scott said, we can always come back once we get some information from actual sales and put them in here.
So what do you guys think about building it out as a brand? Like for this, we might only just do bamboo marshmallow sticks, but supposing we wanted to build a product line here, would you include jungle sticks? Would that help?
Personally, me in the beginning, I wouldn't. I would do that probably later because right now in the beginning, it isn't going to help you. There's no search for that. No one's going to search for jungle sticks right now because you're not a known brand. When you start becoming a little bit more known, that's when I would probably start including it because now I've developed that brand. I don't know, Greg, are you?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing as you, Scott. I agree. I don't think anyone except maybe the audience following along with our launch here knows about Jungle Sticks. It's not a super popular brand yet. Will be, but so I'm going to go ahead and just leave that out. And then I will put that here in the manufacturer.
Sure.
And to be completely honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I guess one manufacturer like Microsoft, I guess, has different brands like the Surface and whatever else. I guess that's when you use these separately. I always just fill in the same thing. Maybe do you know more about that, Scott?
No, I think that's fine because your main seller's account is going to be your main brand. This is like an umbrella brand underneath that.
Sure. And then a lot of this stuff, guys, isn't required to fill in. My idea behind most of it is if you have something that's relevant or true, you can go ahead and just throw it in there. I don't know what part of it really helps that much and what doesn't, but it doesn't hurt to have the information in there. Some of the stuff we will just skip over though, because it's like, okay, I can see manufacturer part number would work well if I was looking for a replacement part for my oven. But it's like I don't think people are going to be searching part numbers for Jungle Sticks. If I wanted to, I could put something in here like maybe the size 36 sticks or whatever. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. I will go ahead and fill some of these other ones in, like package quantity. I know there's going to be 110 in a package. This is a text version of the item size, so I could say something like 36 inch by, I know 5 millimeters. I don't know for sure what that is in standard. I guess it would be about, I don't know. I think less than a quarter inch. Again, I'll go ahead and put 5 millimeters from now.
It's like color, it's 0.196 inches if you're looking to do inches.
So that would be
0.2 inches.
So that would be 1/5 if we used fractions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys are starting to get a little too much school knowledge here in that class.
All right. So color, I could do something like wood or natural.
I was going to say, I think natural wood would be good.
Okay, natural wood. All right.
Yeah, I like
that.
Greg,
can you zoom in a little bit on your screen?
Sorry.
Thanks. So would it help? I can't quite see there. Would it help to include centimeters in addition to inches, or can you only do one?
So, from my understanding, we can see what Amazon says about this, but it's more like descriptive as medium, large, that kind of thing. And there is another spot that we'll talk about in the end. I think it's in more details that you can enter more specifics if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and assume, since this is on the U.S. Amazon store that most people will be searching in, inches and feet as opposed to metric. So I think I'll just leave it like that for now.
Sure.
Hey, Greg, before you hop on here, you didn't mention in the beginning. Did you set this up as a potential variation?
I did not. No.
Okay, because I see variation theme down there, so I just wasn't sure because technically you could do that, but it looks like you would have that option here, right? Because right there you would just set that up as a variation theme, and then you would put in there if you wanted to add that as a variation. See how many products vary, and then you could put in if you want it to vary by size, by other certain things. I've been telling people, I learned from my first experience, from my first product, that I missed that, and I should have, because to go ahead and not that you're ever going to have a variation. I don't know. Maybe you would add a variation of a 2-pack of the 110, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a 5-pack, right? That would be easier to do now than it would be later, because then later you have to call into Seller Central, have them delete the file, and then upload it, and then hopefully your reviews stick.
Okay, so I didn't even realize this. So if you don't select variation from the beginning, you cannot add that without. Okay, that's a good tip. I'm glad we have you on here. So to do that, Scott, I can just select it right here.
Yeah, just select like what you think, like package quantity and size probably would be one.
Yeah, so let's do that, because that way we could, if we wanted, we could add 36-inch skewers or so on.
Well, yeah, you could offer, like right now you're offering 110. You could also add another variation that has a 3-pack of maybe 330.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's in its own package. You'd have to have that repackaged, but in the future you could add that if you wanted to.
Okay.
Or maybe an accessory to it that has the skewers, and then maybe, I don't know, a metal one with it or something. I'm just making stuff up, but I'm saying you could always add another package to that variation now, versus you having to go back now and recreate this, and that's just, I've been hearing it's a nightmare.
Okay, yeah, that's a great tip.
You don't have to use the variation. It's just, it's there, and then I would use it, just don't fill it. Just have the one variation right now.
Right, okay. And then, then on the next page is when we fill out the variations. All right,
Yep.
Cool. Let's see. I don't ever select this. Same thing with this one. I think we go on to the next page. Am I forgetting anything here?
The only thing is, if you have other products, which you don't right now, but just to point this out, where it says related product ID, that's a good place too to put identifiers in for another product if you ever have one. So just to kind of point that out.
Yep, that's a good call. So, down the line, if we add, more products to the Jungle Sticks or Jungle Creations brand, we'll put them in there, and hopefully that tells Amazon to favor those items, and the customers who bought this also bought, and so on.
Exactly.
All right. So for this one, package quantity 110, and size we're just going to do 36 inches.
Yep.
I think I can just leave those.
Yep.
Next. All right. So now we're on the offer. And a lot of this you don't need to fill out, especially right now that you don't know it. Let's see.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff you don't need to fill out. I mean, if you wanted to, you could do imported if you wanted to. I've sometimes left them out, but imported if you wanted to. That would be the only other one. Other than that, I don't think anything in there you really need to do.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and just do this. Like Scott says, I don't think it's required, but that's all right. Shipping method, I am going to, so this bottom one, I want Amazon to ship and provide customer service for my items if they sell. That would be the FBA option.
Yep.
Whereas this top one would be the fulfilled by merchant option. So I'm going to keep that bottom one selected. I can go on to the next page here. So we don't have any photos right now. I used to actually upload kind of a dummy photo in here, but I'm pretty sure you can actually create the listing without it, so I'm not even going to do it. Is that right, Scott?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can, but I mean, worst case, you could always upload just your label.
Yeah, exactly. Or, right, something I found on Google Images or whatever. Because, guys, keep in mind, this listing, since there's no inventory, it's not going to be live on Amazon. We're just doing this because we're being proactive. We're waiting for our products to be manufactured in China. So we can go ahead and have all this ready so that when those products arrive, same day that we receive them, we can go ahead and ship them into Amazon and start making some money. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one. All right, so this is when the description and keywords tabs here, these are items that are going to hopefully affect your conversion rates. They hopefully are going to affect your SEO inside of Amazon. So I'll talk about some of the things that I normally do that I've either seen or I've heard that has helped. But keep in mind, this is the area that we were talking about that, since Amazon, just like Google or anyone else, doesn't actually release how their search algorithm works. A lot of it, some of it can be tested. Other stuff is, I don't know, like old wives' tales that someone started a long time ago and people are going along with. So
yeah. Let me just point one little tip out here. If you're at this stage and you're not in a hurry to fill all this stuff out, what you might want to do, and I've played around with this and it does kind of work, but you know how your URL, when you see a listing, you can see like up in the top of the URL, you'll actually see some keywords put in there, and you can't say what you want it to be, right? You just can't. Like that one there, see, it's marshmallow roasting, rotating, telescopic accessories, right? Well, there's no way to really make that happen, right? It's just a lot of times it comes from your title, and then it comes into your bullets, and it might come into your description. If you want to try to almost force that, put your title in and leave the description and the bullets out for right now, and then let Amazon index it as that, and then when you go back in, it might keep that as your standard URL. So for Google stuff, when Google's trying to find yours, they'll find that helps you rank in Google. So again, not necessarily saying it's going to 100% help you right now, but it's just something that you could do while you're not in a hurry to get it launched.
Cool. That's another thing that I've never tried or seen before, Scott. So that's a good tip. I'm gonna have to try that sometime now.
Yeah, I actually recently just tried it and it worked pretty good.
Cool. So did you? We're getting a little sidetracked here, but did you do a shorter title than you normally would with just the keywords you were trying to nail?
Yeah, I really just went after like top level keywords, like big keywords that I didn't think that I would necessarily rank for a while. And I put them in the first, and they did stick in the first 3, and then after the first 3, I think what's it give you there? It gives you like 5. Is kind of how it does it. So kind of use them, and you can see here, this person might not have did that, so that's why you see marshmallow roasting, and then you see sticks, and then you see other things, because it probably had other things to choose from out of that title. But if you give it less things to choose from, it will probably use only what it has.
Right. Yeah, that's
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense, and that's actually a pretty cool little tip that I haven't heard before. Because obviously this person, rotating and accessories, those probably aren't 2 very good keywords for them. So I'm sure they would like to have something else there if possible.
Yeah,
cool.
It's worth a shot. You know what I mean? Like it's like Amazon has its own way of doing things, so you don't really know. But it'd be interesting to see by you leaving that stuff out and then maybe seeing what the link is that it gives us. Then that'll kind of also say what it did for your listing.
Yeah, cool.
So Scott, just to clarify, you're saying put in the title, leave the description blank, and then you'll start ranking for those main keywords.
You won't necessarily start ranking, but your title is probably one of the main drivers for ranking. And not just ranking in Amazon, but ranking in Google.
Got it.
Because if we can rank outside of Amazon just by having keywords where we want them and then being picked up, that's just bonus traffic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as Scott is kind of talking about here, guys, we can abort this at any point by just clicking save and finish, and we can come back to it another time. So
Exactly.
He's saying he just puts the title in there back here at the vital info, and that's what we're talking about there, and then trying to kind of encourage Amazon to use those for the, what are these called? Canonical something?
Yeah, you said it better than I would have.
Okay.
But yeah, and again, we really want the main ones that are first. So we want like marshmallow roasting or marshmallow sticks. Like we want that somewhere in the title. So if we want them, then we probably should leave the rest out and then just keep what we have in there in the title and see what happens. And in a way that you could possibly force that, again, is if you've seen that it wasn't what you wanted to, then change the title and then minimize what you have in the title until you come back and see how that's kind of affected it. So again, it's testing things, and you're not in a hurry, so why not just keep what you have and then see what happens when you go ahead and finalize it.
Cool. Awesome tip.
Great. So Greg in the chat room said that some of the options, once you do fill in, you can't change. Have you guys experienced that? And if so, specifically, which options would those be?
I'm not personally familiar with that. I don't think I've filled out, I guess, that deep of stuff. I've done the main stuff and then some stuff like you did, Greg, as far as like 36-inch and 110. Like those you should be able to change because those things are going to change. But maybe if it's model number or something, I don't know. I've never experienced that.
You may not be able to change the UPC. I'm not sure.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other ones. But yeah, I don't think I've personally run into that problem. As Scott was kind of saying, it sounds like I've never tried to change whether an item has variations or not, but it sounds like you might have to email Seller Central for that. I would imagine most things you would be able to change if you emailed Seller Central and say, hey, I messed up on this. This is why. Because I mean, keep in mind, Amazon wants to have a great catalog, accurate product. So,
sure.
But yeah, I'm not familiar with any other fields. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So. Yeah, so in here, now we're looking at the key product features and product description. So if we look at a listing, the key product features are going to be these 5 bullet points right here. So it looks kind of funny when you're zoomed in too much. If you go to an Amazon page, and most of the time they're right here unless the listing looks a little different, but there's going to be some main bullet points. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, you're going to see the product description. So when I am making my setting up my listing, that's where you're going to input these right here. So these are your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points, and then we have our product description down here.
Yeah, just go back to that listing real quick, Greg.
Sure.
And I just want people to see. Go to the bullets.
All right.
And just so people can see what this person did was actually what I tell people to do as well, is capitalize your first power words in a sense, right? The ones that are going to draw attention. It also makes it break so you can read it better. And I mean, the only thing I would say here just by looking at this is, and they're doing okay, don't get me wrong. They're selling, pretty decent. But, superior experience, that doesn't really tell me a benefit necessarily. I mean, okay, so superior, I would want to hear more about the benefits of it and then some features, So again, you got to be a little crafty with it, but it's things you can change as well. But safe for you and your family, that's good, right? That's a benefit. Highest quality, yeah, I guess that could be a benefit. The best choice, I guess that gets your attention to read best marshmallow roasting sticks for every camp chef. Again, you can get a lot of ideas for keywords too just by looking through someone else's listing and see what else they've been kind of pulling in there. They've already kind of done that work for you. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. And the 100% satisfaction guarantee, I like it where that is. A lot of people will put that in their title. It's against terms of service, number one. And number two, it doesn't do you any good up there. No one's searching for a 100% satisfaction guarantee, right? So you either put it where he's got it, or you could put that more towards the top of the actual bullets, just so that way if you want that to stand out.
Yeah, then those are all good points, Scott. I've actually read somewhere, it was a little ways back, so I forget where, that someone did a study on these, and it's one of those testings where they can follow where a customer looks at on the screen, and they were saying only the top and bottom bullet points are essentially the only ones that ever get read.
Nice.
So you can kind of keep that in mind. When you're filling these out, if you have something you're really trying to drive home, that's probably 2 good spots to put it. So you guys, you can see that it looks like he used about all of his allowable characters in these bullet points. So as Scott was saying, it does make it stand out a lot better, or kind of break it up, to have these capitalized words here. The idea of filling them out all the way is to get some more potential keywords in there to help with your ranks. It's someone actually reading this listing. I imagine this probably doesn't even read that nicely. 5-piece rotating. Yeah, one little other thing here too is, and I don't know if you've seen this, but some of the listings have been converted in some categories where you have to actually click see more to see the rest of the bullets. You only see the first 2, and then after that you have to expand it to see the rest. Have you seen that yet, Greg? I have. I see it quite a bit in health and personal care for whatever reason.
Okay.
Amazon's funny, they're kind of always testing new stuff. I'm sure they have numbers, whether those convert better. If they do, one day we might see all the listings look like that, or we might see them start testing something else. But yeah, if you do end up having a listing that has one of those, you can only see like the top 2, or I think it's actually like a certain amount of characters, but that's always a time that you could go back and adjust your listing so that you can see or you can put your main points in the area that you want the customers to see.
Yeah.
So
hey guys.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't mean to backtrack, but we have some people that were still had questions about, Scott, your point about leaving the title blank, because when you were talking, it actually switched to you, and we couldn't see Greg's screen. So, Greg, if you could just quickly review that and show us your screen, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I'll go over that so you can make sure you see my screen, or you can turn me on presenter, I guess. But I just clicked onto a listing right here from the Amazon search page, and right after Amazon.com, I'm seeing some keywords right here. I forget the particular name of these keywords. I'm just going to mess it up if I say it, so I won't again. But these are the ones that Scott was talking about that you can kind of encourage, or he's seen that you can encourage Amazon on what keywords to use right there by only putting the ones in your title that you want to use. So, for instance, today I could set up this listing. I could go to some of the only information I could put in here would be like the product name of the keywords that I wanted or that were really important to me or that I wanted to rank for. I could then go ahead and save this, and the idea there is hopefully Amazon would set up the listing in using the keywords that I wanted them to use. So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we can go ahead and fill out a few of these bullet points. This is usually something that personally, I'm not a very good copywriter. Gen can probably help us out with here. He's pretty good. But this is something that usually takes me quite a long time. I'll put some information in there, then I'll go look at some of my competitors. I'll put some more information in there. I may use the Google Keyword Planner, then go put some different keywords in there and so forth. And again, this always can be adjusted, so it's not the end of the world by any means if you don't like your first set in there. But so let's see. Again, you can help us out here. What would be one of our main benefits of our particular bamboo sticks?
Oh, jeez. Put me on the spot. But I think I agree with Scott that what we saw before in that competitive listing was great. So, it's eco-friendly. It's good for time with the family. It's relatively safe. That was something that we took care about, not having too sharp of a point. It is durable. It is FDA approved, right?
Our factory can provide an FDA certificate with our particular item. I haven't decided whether I want to actually advertise that or not. I don't know. I have to look into that a little bit more.
Okay.
So we'll use eco-friendly as one. What about the fact that it is like a long handle, like it doesn't burn your hands? Let's think of a term we could use for that. Maybe safe long. It's not really a handle. Maybe safe long stick. Something else we can say durable, eco-friendly. We can go ahead and put in the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Are they reusable or multi-purpose? Talking hot dogs, marshmallows, kebabs.
Sure, I think either of those. I think they would be reusable, at least.
A few times.
Yeah. All right.
So it looks like for these key product features, we're limited to 100 characters, but in the listing that you were showing before, it did look like, eyeballing it, that it was more than 100 characters. Was that some hack there?
I believe Amazon kind of continues to refine their terms of service and rules. They used to be a little bit more lenient on things. I think titles used to be able to be longer. The bullet points used to be longer, and I think they're kind of continuously adjusting this. Is that right, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, all titles are different. They've changed since I've started. So some titles can be 250, some can be 100, some can be 75. I think it is changing. So, put in put in as much until they tell you to stop. You know what I mean? Like you're only going to be able to put in so much. And right now, again, guys, I wouldn't overthink it. I would just get it filled out and kind of keep going. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't overthink it because, I mean, again, you're doing this on the fly. I'd want to do some research. I'd want to look at 3-4 different listings and kind of run through some of those and get my own ideas and kind of reword it in my own voice, you know?
Sure, absolutely.
Or hire someone.
Yeah. or maybe even you just have a family or friend that's good at copywriting. But yeah, the idea here is we want to use some main keywords, and then we want to try to fill out the. I guess there's two main points of the bullet points. One is to help you rank for keywords, and two is to try to help conversions on your listing. So you kind of have to weigh and balance both of those.
And honestly, Greg, though, I honestly think this is my personal opinion, and I could be totally wrong, but I believe your images, your title, and your price is what's going to sell, pretty much. And then the bullets is going to help you when someone's really starting to kind of do a little bit more research, maybe, or maybe trying to look for something that they want to see that this stick has. The reviews are going to sell it more than the bullets, in my opinion, as well. So the bullets really, to me, are more for ranking. I would think. And for not just ranking here inside of Amazon, I'm talking about like even pay-per-click, helping you be relevant.
So you're saying more words the better.
I would fill it up as much as you can, and don't worry about it being like the best copy in the world because I don't believe people are reading every word in there.
Sure.
I don't. I think if you know that someone in this market is looking for a 36-inch and all they can find is 30, then you better put 36-inch in there as one of your main features, right? You want it to be that thing that people are looking for. Safety or it's eco-friendly or whatever, right? Those are the main drivers. But the other words that you're putting in there, they're just to kind of like I think also give you relevancy when you try to go for pay-per-click. When you're in pay-per-click, and if you don't have those keywords anywhere in your listing, they're not going to rank you for that. You know what I mean? It's just they're not relevant.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and I agree with that. I know when I go to an Amazon listing, I look at all the pictures, I look at the price, I scroll down, I read the reviews, and then I either add to cart or I find something different.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and I would imagine most buyers are similar to me. So, yeah. So as you guys can see here, you can fill this out. I've started to do it a little bit. Ideally, we would continue to keep filling this out all the way till it stops us. We can get ideas from our competitors. We could get ideas from. I haven't really gone over this yet, which I was. This is the Google Keyword Planner. I do believe you have to sign up for either an Analytics or an AdWords account to get access to it. But if you click on Tools...
It is free.
It is free, yes. If we go to Tools and then click on Keyword Planner, I'm just going to do this real quick. Or, what did I do wrong there? Maybe I signed out.
Yeah, you might have auto signed out.
All right. So I'm on the Keyword Planner. You can search for new keywords using a phrase. So I could type in like marshmallow stick, and you can fine-tune all the stuff down there if you want. But Google will give you other ideas that are similar to that search term and tell you how much traffic they get on Google. Of course, this is going to be a little bit different than Amazon, but this is just to get ideas. So maybe I click on the second one. And some other ideas besides marshmallow stick are s'more sticks, s'mores on a stick, sticks for s'mores. If I go back,
Greg, if you actually click on the keyword tab, keyword ideas tab, then you can see them all.
Good call there again. And I guess I can sort.
Filter, yeah.
So we can sort this by what gets the most searches. So having marshmallows in there is going to be good. I don't know about chocolate-covered marshmallows, but marshmallow roasting stick. I might want to put something about a fire in there, s'mores maker, s'more sticks, kebab sticks. These are all good ideas to include in my title or my description or my bullet points.
One other little tip here, too, is if you took your competitor, you took their URL and you put it in on the one before the screen before this, and you went into the website, the landing page. You put that in there, it'll actually look at their listing.
Oh, cool. I've never done that either. So you're saying you go to the keyword planner. I'll take my competitor here.
Yep. Take their URL, copy that.
Into which one?
Well, just put it in like you're going to go for the keyword, search for new keywords and phrases, and then where it says landing page, copy that and hit get ideas. There you go.
Aha, another cool little hack. Man, I'm glad we had you on the show tonight, Scott. That's cool. Okay. Neat.
Yeah, so I mean, they might turn back some similar ones, but it's going to give you everything that's in that listing that it could be ranking for.
Sure. Okay.
In Google, obviously.
Right. Very cool. Okay, so yeah, there's some more great ideas.
Grill accessories. I mean, you know, who knows? Campfire cooking. You know, those are some bigger keywords. They might not be 100% on par, but they're just going to give you more ideas.
Right.
So, what's your opinion here on like head terms, like main really competitive ones versus long tail, where it'll be a smaller volume but really honed in customer base?
Really, to be honest with you, like right now, you're just kind of like guessing, you know, and the pay-per-click is really when you're gonna be able to hone in, because nothing else matters right now other than what they're searching for inside of Amazon, because that's what we're going after. So when you can start pulling those reports after you ran a week's worth of pay-per-click and you start going into the customer searched keywords, and that's gold. That's like pure gold, because that's actual keyed in searches that they put in, and then you're going to start really honing in on those. So that's going to really where you're going to be able to refine this. Again, I like to tell people it's a process. It's not something you're going to set up today and let it go and go, oh, this is great. If you want to just throw it up and see what happens, great. But you're going to want to keep honing in. You know, the data's there. You know.
Yep. All right. So if we get back to our setting up our listing here, again, we've gone over the product description. There's not too much to say about this. It's telling us it allows 2,000 characters. There is one thing. They do allow a few different HTML tags. I haven't personally read this, but it is my understanding that it's against their terms of service. Is that right, Scott?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, but I mean, some people are still putting in HTML and they're getting it. And I got to be honest again on the product description. I don't know, probably a few percent might go and read it, but it's going to kind of do the same thing that you did there. You kind of reiterate. They used a little bit here. You can see to bold it. They used caps again to break it. They did some bullets. But again, I heard the same thing. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, I don't think it's going to make one bit of difference, really. And I know we talk about like ranking, and it also says in their ranking terms that the description doesn't get picked up.
Yeah.
You know, but does that mean you should ignore it? No. You know, I mean, they say one thing, but you know, other things have been happening. So I would put it in there anyway, and also I think just for relevancy, whether it helps you rank or not, if it's going to help you start being able to be seen in pay-per-click because you're relevant because of the stuff that's in the description.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. So just for those of you who don't know, so you can see like this right here is in bold. There's a line break right here. If you did want to do this, you know, you can, I think, to do the lines, you use P for paragraphs. This would be like, so if I also wanted to bold it, I could put in a B for bold. This would be like a top header, and then I would close that out by using first my bold. I would close that, and then my paragraph, and then when I type something after this, this would be the next line. And then you can go on and on. If you choose to do that, it appears Amazon still allows it everywhere, and a lot of people are doing that. We have warned you that we did hear it was against the terms. I don't know if they really care, but that might be something you want to keep in mind. I imagine they would just at some point say, hey, you have to take that HTML out of your description. So, but yeah, you know, as we kind of talk about it here, just go ahead and fill this out to your best of your ability. You can always change a little bit later. And yeah, we'll go ahead and move on here to the keywords. We're already close to 7 o'clock here. We just have a few more things to hit on. So maybe Scott can answer this question. This is a good one. As long as I've been selling on Amazon, platinum keywords has always been here, but I've never been allowed to use it. Do you know what the deal is with this, Scott?
I think that's for upper level sellers, bigger brands. I think
So
And
you're
I don't
approved
think
for
it
that
makes I don't think it makes a bit of difference for us.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, we won't go into it too much, but I've always, it's like, why do they even show that to me? I've never been allowed to use it.
Yeah, I mean, if they allow you to put stuff in there, put stuff in there. But if it's grayed out and you can't, then you can't.
Right. So for the search terms, I'm going to let Scott share his story here, but essentially we want to put in all of the terms that we'd like to rank for. So again, we can get those from the Google Keyword Planner. We can get those from how Amazon automatically fills in. So if we type in bamboo, we might be able to get some ideas of other things people are searching for. And then Scott, why don't you? This is the area that was happening in, correct?
Yeah, exactly it.
So
And
share your story with everyone.
yeah, okay. So the other night we have a class hangout that we do every other week with my private class, and we were basically doing a little hangout, and one of my students just recently listed her product, and she said, Scott, I turned on pay-per-click, and I ran an auto campaign, and then I started doing a suggested bid campaign, and when I did that, I'm only getting 2 keywords. And I'm like, really? You should be getting like 50 to 100 minimum, because what it's doing is it's scraping your listing, and then from there it's telling you like suggested keywords. Like Amazon's looking at your listing and saying this is the keywords that you should target, right? Well, she was only showing up for 2. So I said, that's kind of strange. Let me ask you, do you have commas in there? And she said, yeah, actually I do. I said, well, let's try this first. I don't use commas. I didn't think you were supposed to use commas. Let's see if this makes a difference. Pull the commas out, and then we'll see what happens. And I thought it would take a couple days. That was at the beginning of our hour hangout that we had. By the end, she chimed back in and she said, Scott, you'll never believe it. I pulled all the commas out. Now I'm ranking, or not ranking, but now I'm getting suggested keywords of about 100 plus. So instantly, by taking the commas out of there, she was able to start being exposed for these other keywords. So whether that would have hurt her in ranking organically or not, it definitely hurt her in the pay-per-click game. So keep the commas out. All you need is
That's funny because I've always kept them out just because, again, it's one of those things that I've just kind of heard. Didn't really know if it made a difference or not, but just didn't know.
But see how they got an example down there with commas?
Yeah, that is funny, right?
Right? So I don't know if they did that just to show that you can have different keywords, and then people weren't going to put the comma in there, but people are putting commas in there, and then that's where there's going to be a problem. So whether that's going to hurt you or not in the organic game, I don't know, but it did hurt her in the suggested keyword game.
Right. So what he's talking about here is when we fill these out, we're not going to put any commas here. I've heard that you also don't need to, like, I have sticks, that you don't need to also put stick. I guess that's true.
Just use it once, guys. If you're doing bamboo sticks, that's all you have to use it. Now just continue to build that out. And because what they're going to do is they're going to pull from bamboo, and if sticks is in line 3, they're going to pull from sticks down there, because now you've nested all of them together and you have this pool of keywords, and then they're going to start pulling them from those searches.
Cool. And then you'll notice right here I can't complete it. I've run out of space, so I'm just going to go down to the next line and start typing in more keywords. And again, same spots, Keyword Planner or Amazon or whatever. That's the area you want to put those in there.
So what about competitors? Not sure if there's a big brand in this space, but if there were, would you include that?
That's a good question.
I would.
Yeah. So
it's not going to show anywhere, guys. It's in the back end. No one's going to see it.
Right. So for this particular example, I don't think we have any big name competitors, but if we did, I agree with Scott. That'd definitely be a good spot to show it. Looks like we have a few private label sellers, and I've never heard of any of these brands, but
here's the thing that you might want to do though, Greg, is if you see one of those brands is selling really well and they're like one of your top private labelers, or even not a private labeler, you might want to take their brand and put in the back end.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to see who's selling the best here. I'm going to go ahead and throw them in there. Malo Me. Let's see. All right, Malo Me and Rome Industries. So we can go ahead and throw them in there as well. So Malo Me, Rome Industries.
Greg, I don't think we can see your screen now.
Can't see my screen anymore. Can you see me?
Yeah.
I can see you, Greg.
Okay, let me try. I must have clicked to stop screen sharing. All right. That should work. Can you see me again?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So cool. So yeah, that's where you're going to put in your search terms. We have a few items left down here.
And sorry, just to,
Yep.
sorry to interrupt. Following up on Scott's point about commas, does it matter to include commas in the title? Like, would that be?
Yeah, I would not use a comma. I would go very light on characters, on different characters. I think hyphens are probably okay, but I wouldn't use commas. You know, it's kind of like one of those things too. It's like, you know, even when you've done, like, you know, I've done it before. I've saved an image and then, you know, it screws up the link when you send it because you put in a character. It's kind of the same thing, I think. Again, I'm speculating here, but yeah, I would just keep it clean. You know, keep it clean.
Yeah, I don't see many people use like punctuation in their titles, so I'd recommend do the same. You know, keep most of that out of there. So let's see. We were at our keywords here. Intended use. You know, I don't know how much things like this matter. And again, maybe Scott can provide some insight here. I usually just you can choose up to 5. So I usually check a few if I think they're relevant, and then maybe I'll try to provide one more. Do you have any additional insight on this?
No, I would do the same thing with you. I'd just put my own term in there if I could, like you said, fire pit or campfire or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I would do that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who knows if it really helps, but the more info you can give, the better.
Yeah. Target audience. We just kind of have to decide who we think, you know. Boys and girls, they're probably going to be roasting marshmallows quite a bit. I don't know, teens, and I could just kind of select these on who I think. Of course, you know, if you're selling like a baby product, this can be really relevant. If you're selling maybe an item that's really hot for teenage girls, this could be really relevant. For our item, it's not so much gender or age relevant, so we could probably just kind of fill these in with whatever.
So that target audience, I mean, it might be an interesting thing to test later. I was thinking that would be the parents of the boys and girls, as in the intended user.
That's a good question. I don't really know
the profile
about how. I don't really even have.
I would probably do what you're doing. I do boys, girls, teens, and I would do adults probably. You know what I mean? Something kind of a little more broad. But again, I don't know how much that's going to be, you know, a deciding factor. It's, again, you're just giving them a little bit more data.
Okay. Yeah. Other attributes. Let's see. It's only showing me one right here. I think it generally shows me a few more. I think if I'm not mistaken, you can add in another term, save and finish, and come back, and then keep adding one at a time. Or I don't know. Scott, do you know? Can I just add a whole bunch on this line?
I haven't, but you probably could. But I mean, you know, I think, like you said, I've done it that way too, where you come back and you have a new field.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I haven't really lost a lot of sleep over thinking about what I was going to put there.
Yeah, and especially that's absolutely right. And guys, especially if this is your first product, what you'll come to find is a lot of the stuff doesn't make that big of a difference. You can always try to tweak it later, but you know, a lot of times I'll try to tweak stuff and see like absolutely no change at all. It's like, okay, well, I don't know how much of a difference that made. But at the same time, you know, it's like if it only takes a few seconds to fill out, maybe I'll just throw something in there. So subject matter, I kind of even forget what this one is. Okay, so I think what we're looking for here is like stick for roasting marshmallows, or do you know a better term to put in here? Let's see. Trading card. Yeah, and I think that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. This one, in the more detailed section, I don't fill out a lot of stuff in here. You can see most of it isn't going to be relevant. There are a few things that I do fill out. We can go over them. The suggested retail price, let me show you where this shows up. If I look at a listing and it says list price $24.99 and they have it crossed out and they show the price it's selling for on Amazon, that is going to be, this is the price that they have crossed out. Does this really make any difference? Probably not, but I'll go ahead and just fill it out. I think we decided we're going to list this product for around $27. Maybe I'll put $39.99. Did I lose my screen again?
We did, yeah.
Wonder why that's happening. Sorry, guys.
Hang in there, Greg. Hang in there. you're on the home stretch.
Let's see here. Give my computer a little rub. Only a little while longer, little guy. So most of the stuff you guys can read through. You know, like it doesn't contain any of flammable material. None of that consumer notice type stuff.
So, Greg, do you have some like rough formula for how you mark it down from the listed price to the ultimate selling price and the sale price?
No, I totally made that up.
Totally arbitrary?
Yeah. So I could have put $29.99, or I could have put the exact price we're selling it for. I don't know. Do you have any?
No, I think the manufacturer price is always going to be higher. You want it to be higher because you do want to see that line through it. Subliminally, you know, like when we see that and then we kind of make that decision, we like to see that it's less. And you know, I mean, we see it all the time in the jewelry market, right? You see that 75% off. We know that it's not really 75% off. I mean, that's what they could charge, but. So I like to have that higher, and then I like to have the cross out through it. And you can even take that one step further where you go manufacturer's price, and then you'll go list price, and then you'll go sale price. Right? So then you'll have 3 different prices showing, and you'll see that you've really marked it down, kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's see. Product dimensions. We can go ahead and fill this out, and then some of this stuff. Like, let me find you. This one right here, package dimensions, if I'm not mistaken, this is the one that Amazon uses when they charge you the FBA fees. So it is good to go ahead to. I always wait till my actual product gets in, and I take accurate measurements and I put it on a scale and get an accurate weight, because this is something. I would guess Amazon probably does the same thing. If not, it's good to always be honest about this kind of thing. So. This one is important. Like this one up here with the, let's see, product dimensions. If this one was a little bit further off, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, or as big of a deal, because Amazon's not losing any money depending on this one. This is just kind of to show to the customer. So, I could fill that out. Let's see here. I don't think much of this other stuff is relevant for me. Am I forgetting anything in here, Scott?
No, I just kind of scan that stuff, and if I see something that kind of calls out to me that I could actually fill in, I will. But a lot of that stuff doesn't really pertain.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, let's see. This is on our last one.
Greg, maybe the moisture needs, if we're running bamboo sticks, do you think?
It looks like this is for a plant.
So
I see a climate zone. So yeah. And
again, I think I would say that too in that part of that. If there's something you're not sure about, then don't put it in, because that could also hurt you, in a sense, because then you might put a criteria in there and it might not really be, and then someone that's searching might get filtered out.
Great point.
Yeah, and you'll find that most of those aren't required. So let's see. It's asking me to go back and do package quantity.
I think it's in your variation, to be honest with you. See how it's got the little strike? Because you didn't add the variation. So you just got to add it. When you put that in, then you got to click Add Variation. Yeah, go ahead. Put that in, Add Variation, and then it'll add it to it.
There we go, because I was just thinking at the end there that we didn't do the UPC or EAN. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, there's your UPC, EAN, yep.
So it is required to enter a UPC or EAN, even though, remember, we're not printing this on the packaging. I bought like 100 of these from speedybarcodes.com, I think it is, like a year ago, and I'm still using them. So you're just going to grab one of those and use it, and Amazon, if you look at the product details on an Amazon listing, you'll see that they, well, I guess not for this one, but some of them they'll have it listed. Is there any way around this that I don't know about, Scott, or do you do the same thing?
Yeah, I do pretty much the same.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll need to enter that to get and if I'm not mistaken, I think you might have to enter this before you get your FNSKU. I'm not sure. You could try it. It doesn't hurt to try without it.
Yeah, you need to put new for the condition. I think that needs to be in there too. Yeah, right in there. Yep. Condition
All right.
new. Yep.
Let's see. Does it require this right now?
No, that I think is your, like I said, your base price. That's the one, like I said, that'll override your manufacturer price. You probably want to put that in there.
Okay.
So if you're $29.95, if you're going to sell them for whatever, then you'd be less than that.
All right. So yeah, we'll do for this one. And then
the sale price you don't have to do. That's where you would have that other line that would come in if you wanted to do a sale price for a week, right?
Right.
And it would show that cross out, and it would show you the percentage that you save.
Yeah. So what Scott's talking about here, if I did have this person had sale price, again, it'd be crossed out again, and then you can set the start and end date for that, and you could just do forever.
Yep.
So I guess it wants me to enter a quantity, and again, as you guys can see here, if you if you forget anything, let's see, I have that package quantity. Maybe it wants. Let's see, this is the one that I'd be shipping in though.
Yeah, I honestly think they just want something in there, so you can just put one.
Okay.
And then when you send in the inventory, it'll be.
See if it'll
so,
take
Greg,
it that
when you
time.
first listed your product, and you did get the FNSKU, where would that be found?
That's the one thing I was trying to show you. So let's see. I don't have a UPC handy to throw in here, and I'm guessing it's smart enough that it won't let me put in a fake one. I can try. I don't even remember how many characters it is, but let me see if I can put in a fake one if it will let me. It's one other thing. Seller SKU. This is the stock keeping unit. I think they should use a better term than this because it's kind of confusing. But you can put whatever you want in here, and this would be for like if I had a factory, so that I would know or a warehouse. I would know in my warehouse where it was located. So I don't think it's going to take this. No.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quit out of here, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you where to find the FNSKU. So this is the one that I talked about. I had listed earlier, so I could print off the FNSKU. What you need to do is actually. So what you're going to click that, and you just click on this item, this drop down up here, and click Print Item Labels, and then you can adjust how many stickers you want on this sheet. But I'll go ahead and just press Print here. All right, I'll save this, and then you'll see on this PDF that I have a FNSKU right here. So this is the same one that I gave to our graphic designer when she was making the label.
Yeah, and they can just take a screenshot of that when they do it, and then your graphic designer can just then take that image and put it on there, because that's the actual code itself and the number and all that stuff.
Right, and so yeah, that's what Amazon's going to be scanning, which tells them the seller who's selling it as well as the product type. Let me give you one other little tip here, because I remember this. So after I created this item, so again, if you just went through that whole process with us and you actually entered the UPC, which we didn't at the very end, you would have a listing just like this. At that point, I remember when I was doing this a few days ago that, let's see, I think when I clicked Print Item Labels, it was giving me an error. And what I had to do is go over here to Edit, and I forget the exact term, but it said something along the lines of switch to fulfillment by Amazon. It probably would have been right here. Instead of change to fulfill by merchant, we can probably do it actually. Sure, convert it. So if it's fulfilled by merchant, let's see if this will work for me. When I go to Print Item Labels, that worked that time. But I think the first time you do it, it's going to give you an error, and you need to click over here, change. I guess because it didn't work. It will say change to fulfill by Amazon. You're going to click that, and then it will let you print out the FNSKU. So yeah, what am I forgetting here, guys? Anything?
No, I think you're ready to rock and roll. You got a listing built, and you're through that stage. I would say you're all set to go. My only thing is when that product gets there and you're ready to send that in. Make sure your images are all in place and try to get them babies done as soon as possible. So if you don't have your product yet that you can take pictures with, you're probably going to want to do that like ASAP. So you can start building the rest of that out, because it's pretty much done. Like you said, it's done, it's ready, it's live as soon as you submit inventory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, at this point, we would, if I get off this call with you guys, I'll go in there and maybe fine-tune some of the stuff that just like, the product description, I only typed a few words in there. That's the kind of thing I could just kind of finish out. And then I can't stress the importance of good images enough. It's really important. So we're going to take really good pictures of our bamboo sticks. And then, as far as what we do now, though, at this point, we're kind of waiting around for the factory to produce it. If everything goes to schedule, I think on December 4th is when we're scheduled to get our first shipment in of 10 cases. At that point, we will try to quickly take some product images and then ship that right into Amazon so we can start making some sales. So, do we have any good questions you want to answer real quick, Gen?
Yeah, there were some questions about the taxes. I think somebody was answering them, but how you set up the sales taxes to be collected from Amazon.
That's probably something that I'm not real qualified to talk about.
I'm not a legal advisor or a tax consultant.
Yeah.
Go to TaxJar.
Yeah, TaxJar could help you out with that. I feel like I know a little bit about it now, but I would hate to give someone the wrong advice and they get in trouble for it. So check out TaxJar or do a Google search to find someone a lot smarter than me that could help you out with that.
I think TaxJar is a great resource, and there's a lot of data on there. And I've heard mixed things from people not collecting at all. I've heard people collecting only in their own home state. And I've heard people collecting in all of the states that the warehouses are housing inventory. So there's a mix of opinions and what people are doing. So again, you have to really, I guess, talk to someone. Look into TaxJar.
Sure.
That's what I would recommend.
And then as far as the shipping, Greg, you mentioned that you're going to get it at your warehouses, do a quality inspection, and then send it to Amazon using Amazon's rates.
Yeah,
how are you
that's
going to go about that?
That's exactly right. So maybe next webinar we can kind of talk about that a little bit more, but what I'll do is I'll just create a fulfillment order. I will give Amazon the size and weights of the boxes, tell them how many I'm shipping into them. They'll probably split them up into have me send shipments to a few different warehouses of theirs, distribution centers, and then we will use we'll print out UPS labels that Amazon gives us, and we can use their UPS account, which their rates are just awesome. It's pretty cheap. So, yeah.
Excellent. And any thoughts on the photos yet, or is that the next step of research?
That would be the next step of research for us. I think I kind of mentioned this last week, but the lady who used to do mine is no longer doing images. So Gen and I are actually in the search right now to find someone to do our images. So actually, if you maybe you could, if anyone knows a good person to do our images, you could leave a comment in the blog post, and that would help us out. So we Gen and I are gonna be looking for someone. All right. Are there any other popular questions coming through again that we want to handle before we wrap things up?
No, I think we've covered most of it. A lot towards the end about photos, but yeah, that will be the next webinar, right?
Okay. So, yeah. In the next webinar, I don't know for sure the date. We can plan this, and of course, we'll email it out to everyone. In the next one, we can talk about creating our fulfillment order. And we can also let you guys know what we found out about photos and who's going to take them. But essentially, we're going to hire someone professional to take really good photos because they are really important. They can increase your conversion rates a lot. So we want to take multiple really high-resolution photos, maybe like a lifestyle photo of a cute little kid holding a marshmallow stick, something along those lines. And again, we can work with our photographer on that. And then, yeah, we can chat all about all of that at our next webinar.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I guess we will wrap things up from here. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Scott, we appreciate you coming on. The group definitely benefited from some awesome little tips you gave us there, so we appreciate that. If you guys want to, Scott does webinars like every week. He has a podcast, all that kind of stuff. You can find out, more about him and, everything he has going on at theamazingseller.com. I definitely recommend you subscribe to his podcast. I learned a ton from it. He brings on really sharp guests that are, some of the brightest people in their particular niches. So I would imagine a lot of you guys are already listening or following along with Scott. If you haven't, I'd recommend you do so. And, yeah, any other parting words, guys?
No, I really just want to say thanks for having me on, and it was a lot of fun. I love talking about this stuff, you know that, and some people they'll refer to you or I or anyone in this space as like an expert, and you can just tell clearly that we're not experts, right? We're people that have done it. We're a little further along maybe than others, and we're always learning. And I mean, I'm learning just from having guests on my podcast and talking to you, and just really getting yourself out there and networking with people and just understanding the business a little better. But yeah, this has been fun. I really appreciate you having me on. In the future, when you do get into pay-per-click, though, if you ever want me back on for that, I'd love to dive into that. I love talking about that stuff.
Sweet. Yeah, that'd be a good time to have you back on. That'd be fun. So, yeah, speaking of networking, guys, if you don't have anyone that, available to kind of talk to about this stuff, if you join our Facebook group, the Amazon FBA Competitive Edge, that's a good spot. Scott's Facebook group is super active and, full of really smart people, so that's another good spot. The Facebook group's just called the Amazing Seller, right, Scott?
Yeah, just theamazingseller.com/F as in Frank, B as in boy. That'll get you there. But you and I both kind of, I think we've got a lot of people in our same audience. I think we have pretty similar philosophies as far as having a good community. So yeah, we kind of have the same community, which is awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to hop in either of those Facebook groups, you can chat, with other people, ask them their questions. Scott and Gen and I, all of us, pop in and out of there and do our best to help you as well. So thanks, guys. I know it's getting late, especially on the East Coast or in Europe or wherever you're at in the world. So thanks, guys, and stay tuned for our email about the next webinar. So
yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you later. Good luck to everyone.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, take care. Bye.
See you later, guys.